Hi everybody, today is the third video in our Making a Hand series and the hollowing series. So I'm going to show you how you can start to hollow out the form. You can see I already sliced it, got ahead of myself, but I'm going to just walk you through why we need to do this. So when you're looking at a piece of sculpture made out of clay, if the clay is thin, like thin as your thumb or a little bit thicker, then you usually don't have to hollow. So all of these fingers and even this egg didn't need to be hollowed out. However, when we're talking about the wrist or these thicker areas, if I leave it solid, there's a great chance of air bubbles being in there. There's also a great chance that water won't get out, and both water and air pockets cause explosions in the kiln. You might be asking, why would I create another air pocket by creating and hollowing it out? Well, we're making an air pocket and then we'll poke a little hole so that the water or the air can flow out of it. The other form of hollowing is what you see with these. Since I knew that I was only going to be hollowing down at the bottom, instead of cutting, like I'm going to show you here, I did something a little more simple, which is taking my loop tool, scooping some out, and then, continuing further and further down because I'm okay with this opening showing. All right, but if you're not, you're going to be doing what you see here. So finding a place where you can cut it. Obviously, cutting in a place that's not, in the middle of these fingers is best so that it's not distracting or disturbing the more complex area. I could have cut in this direction too if I wanted, but took my knife tool, sliced it, and now I've got a very clear place where I'm going to reattach it. So now I'm going to start with my loop tool, cutting down. It's kind of like scooping ice cream if you've ever done that. So as I do this from the middle, I have to pay attention and make sure that I'm preserving the integrity of the walls. So this tapers down. So as I go further and further down, I'm making sure not to cut too much from the side so I go through. But if you do, you can always repair if you go through on the side. So I would go a little bit deeper on this side. Notice I'm leaving about 1/4 of an inch here for reattachment. I would do the same thing on the other side. So scooping up, trying to pay attention to where it gets thinner because I don't want to go through the hand if I can avoid it, like the outside. All right, and so I'm using a loop tool. You can also use like a wooden tool and do more of a traditional scoop. It's really up to you. But the idea is then I would go and slip and score right along here, slip and score right along here, put it back together, and then of course, something like this, I'm gonna need a Band-Aid coil to hide that seam. Give it time to dry, and then you've made a hollowed piece. The very last step is finding a place where you can very secretly poke a hole. I usually poke 3 just to make sure the air can get out. And that is how you create something with hollowing.